What's going on, lads? If you're new to this channel, my name is Dave, and in the past I made a lot of videos on minoxidil, and I did a twin test with my identical twin brother and used him as kind of a control variable to see if minoxidil worked on the beard and scalp. And this video is a bit different. I'm going to start a video series on hair loss and my experience with balding. So in this video I'm just going to be going over my story from teens till now, and kind of go over how not only I coped with hair loss, but how I embraced it. And so this is gonna be a new series. Thank you for your time and attention. Stay tuned. Get started with this. Before I get started, I just want to say shout out to Harry from Bald Cafe. I'm going to put a link to his channel in the description. I got this idea from him. No, I'm not affiliated or sponsored with his channel at all, but I just really like his style, and it definitely motivated me to do this. And I'm making this video because my head shave video is surprisingly the most popular video I have on my page, and I didn't realize how many dudes were dealing with this issue. So I'm going to start a series on this, and this is just the first of the series. And I felt really weird putting together this collage of just videos and pictures of myself, but some people asked me what happened to my hair, so I figured I'd just make a video. And yes, I made a PowerPoint out of it. So it first started when I was about 13. This is me and my brother. We're identical twins if you're new to this channel. You can kind of see a little bit of scalpage going on here. You know, it didn't really bother me because I didn't really give a shit what I looked like, and it wasn't too bad or too noticeable. But someone did make a comment when I was about 13 because I was trying to get a shape up haircut, and you know, it looked kind of weird on me because my hairline wasn't that great. And you know, I didn't really think much of it. I kind of just thought it was just like a typical, you know, just because I'm a white guy and, you know, I just have white guy genes. I didn't really think much of it. But as time went on, it started to give me more anxiety. But when I was 16, I don't have too many pictures, but when I was 16, you can kind of see a bit of recession right in this area. And it's very thin, especially right here in this blonde spot. And in the summer, you know, it would get really blonde and thin, and then that's actually the part that started receding the most at first. And around the age of 17, this is me. I got a little bit of scalpage showing here. I didn't think much of it really. You know, what was the solution? I would just kind of grow out the sides right here, and then just put it to the side, and that was a good solution for a while. I would just put some gel and comb it down, and it wasn't an issue really. So yeah, it was receding a bit, but it didn't bother me too much because I would just like kind of cut the sides a little bit short. As you guys will see, I started cutting the sides a lot shorter as the recession went on, and I felt like it looked better, and I was pretty happy with it. It didn't bother me too much. Let me go to the next one. So here is me at age 18. Sorry, this is kind of blocking my face. But as you can see, it's pretty similar to age 17, but in this picture, you can kind of see the recession increasing a bit. And I noticed it, but it didn't bother me really. I always had pretty light and thin hair, so I just thought it was kind of like the haircut, but it actually wasn't. My hairline was just receding. And yeah, I would just kind of gel it, and then eventually got to the point where I couldn't gel it up like this anymore because right in this area it was thinning. So I just started with initial recession on the sides, and it was thinning a lot right in this area, so I just couldn't gel it anymore. What I eventually did was I would just push it to the side, like you can kind of see it here, but I would kind of make it, I kind of sculpt it a little bit. And I worked at a pool at this time, so when I would go in the water, I would try not to get my head wet, but you know, it's inevitable, and I felt like it would exacerbate the balding image, and I just didn't like that. I didn't like the receding thinness that it would give off when I would be in the water. The next phase is 19. You can kind of see the recession a bit more as time goes on, especially right here. It would just go really far back, and here's my brother and I, and you can kind of see it right here. So I kind of had to switch the haircut up, like I was saying before. It depends on the haircut really. I eventually started just growing it out really, like a lot on the top, and then just shaving the sides really short. I didn't do it here, but you can kind of see it. Like I would just grow the hair out, and yeah, right here, this was my new style. I went from having it pretty long on the sides, but with the recession, I felt like it looked a little bit weird. But I didn't really care too much. It wasn't that much of an insecurity until I was actually at a tailgate with some friends, and it was raining. And one of my buddies posted a picture and tagged me, and I just saw the picture and I was like, wow, I didn't know my hair. I couldn't find the picture, unfortunately, but my hairline was just receding a lot. And again, like when I would go swimming or if it would rain, then it would really, really make it look more present, or you could just see so much scalp. And I actually grew a little bit insecure about it. Up until this moment, I didn't really care until like it was receding a lot, and then I started to avoid certain things like swimming. Like I just didn't. I mean, I worked at a pool, so I had to do it, but I just didn't like it. I didn't want to go swimming. I didn't want to go out on windy days, or if it was raining, I needed an umbrella. And then here is me at age 20. So around this time, I actually bought Rogaine for the first time, and when I would use it on my hair, so my hair, like I said before, if it was raining or if it was just wet, it would make it look a lot more receded and thin than it actually was. So I didn't really like using Rogaine because I would put that stuff in and it wouldn't dry by the time I got to class or work, and my hair would just be wet, and I just really didn't like how it looked. So a solution for that was I would apply it and then I would wear a hat. And you guys can see, like, these are actually all different hats. There's a different bandana. These are all just, and I would wear sunglasses on my head and just put it on top of my hair, because when it was windy, it would just it would make it look a little bit weird. So as you can see, I would rock that. The sides were pretty shaved. You can't really see it here, but I would shave the sides and just grow it out on the top, and kind of sculpt it with some hair clay. That stuff was awesome. I really liked it, and it worked for a little bit of the time. But yeah, if I put that hat on, it was not coming off. So around this time, I actually got a bit insecure about it, and I just didn't like how my hair was looking. And on this day, it actually was raining, and I didn't bring an umbrella, and it wasn't supposed to rain, because I started looking at the schedule of the weather, and this day it wasn't supposed to rain, and I didn't bring an umbrella. So what I did was, it got my hair really wet, and I was kind of freaking out. And so I went to the bathroom and I put some towels on it to dry it, and I felt ridiculous doing it, but I was like, I just didn't know what to do at that point, because I knew pictures were going to be taken because this was a very popular event. So ages 21 to 23, this is where I started creating. Let me pull this down. I started creating what I call the sculpture. I saw someone call it the sculpture on Reddit, and I thought that was hilarious because it's so relatable. This is where I started creating my sculpture. Sorry, I did a really poor job with this PowerPoint, guys. And so you can see in the bottom two on the right pictures, this is where my sculpture has evolved. This is where I started using hair fibers, and I would use that hair clay and like that hair wax, and I would just style it and then push it to the side, and it covered all the thinness in the middle, which you guys will see in a bit. I think I did a pretty good job at hiding it for the most part, but you can kind of see that it is receding. And right here, I would put hair clay, and then I would just comb it forward, and here's an angle where you could see that it was really receded. Right here I think this was more of the haircut that, again, like I would try to get haircuts that would be good for, someone with a really receded hairline. And you could see the thinness right here too, just hanging out with friends. And I just, my confidence was actually going down, and I didn't like it. So, I was trying to find solutions. And at this point, I stopped using the Rogaine up until after a little bit more time, I got back on the Rogaine, except I switched over to the Kirkland's liquid minoxidil 5%. I thought this was funny. Around age 20 to 24, man, I would just wear hats everywhere. And you can see, like, I'm wearing bandanas, hats, sunglasses on top of my head, like right here. And I went, like I said in my previous videos, I really like cosplaying and stuff. But so it kind of helped out because I could wear, like, for example, this event, I wore a crown. Oh, and I'm starting to grow out my beard here too, because I started using minoxidil on the beard. If you're new to the channel, I use minoxidil to grow this beard. It's permanent, but it's not permanent for the hairline. So, but I'll get into that in a little bit. So I'm just wearing all these hats, man. You know, it worked as a solution for a bit, but once that hat went on, it wouldn't come off. Here's me at age 24, and again, if you're new to the channel, I used to do a minoxidil experiment with my brother, and here is 6 months using minoxidil, and you could see that like I used it for about 15 months total on my hairline, and it did make some improvements, but it wasn't worth it. So I'm just gonna play this real quick, and you can see how thin it really got. And so this is my identical twin, and you can see that there is a bit of a difference. You could see some gains right there, but you know, it wasn't anything that significant, which made me want to stay on it. So I eventually got off of it, of course, but I still used it every now and then for my beard, because I felt like it was worth using it on the beard, because the beard is permanent, and you know, it didn't even work that well for the scalp. And here is me and my brother. I used it for 8 months and he didn't use it at all. So here is a good, in my opinion, kind of a controlled experiment that we did. And this is me, by the way. And it's, again, you could see some gains. Actually, I made some gains, and I was happy with it, but it really plateaued at month 8. And here's another video. My hair was starting to look like a bird's nest, in my opinion, and I just didn't know what to do at this point. And I was just sticking with the minoxidil, hoping it was going to work out, but it wasn't, of course. Age 24, and this is really when it was getting bad. But at this point, this is kind of like what it was. This is me on 15 months of minoxidil, and it was getting this bad. Like when it would, this was just a light rain, and I just didn't know what to do anymore. And I was just thinking, I was considering getting the scalp micropigmentation, but that stuff I'm like too broke for that right now. So I just didn't want to do that. Plus I was thinking, I don't even know if it's going to look good on me. And so at this point I was kind of freaking out a little bit. I don't mean to be so hyperbolic, but I just, it was an insecurity of mine, and I just didn't know what to do. And, it's not like something I thought about all day, but it was something that I was just thinking, it did impact my confidence. And this is the sculpture. Age 25. This is a lot of hair wax. This is hair fibers. This is, I started doing this routine where, because I read it online, it actually did work. It helped a little bit, where I would shower regularly, but I would wash my hair every other day. And so that worked pretty well. But an issue was when I would put hair fibers in, the hair fibers, it would only last for a day, then it would stain my skin, and it just didn't work that well because my hair was too far gone that it just didn't work that well. So I'll do the 2-day hair washing thing, but again, the hair fiber thing, since I could only keep it in for 1 day, then I'd have to wash it. It just completely screwed up my 2-day plan. And man, I put a lot of thought into this. I was trying so hard to keep onto the hair. And then, yeah, and at this point, I was trying to find some solutions, and that's when I stumbled across Bald Cafe, and I was so happy I found it, because I didn't even consider shaving my hairline or shaving my head. It wasn't even in my mind at all. And then I saw someone post a comment saying, how has it impacted your life? And then, it just made me think. I was thinking, it's like preventing me from going out on dates. That was like, if I was to go on a walk, I would have to like look at the weather to see if it's gonna be windy. Then I would wear a hat, and then if I wore the hat, I couldn't take it off, and it would impact me in other ways. Like I would go to a bar and I would prefer to wear a beanie, and then the bouncer told me I couldn't wear the beanie, so I took it off. And then when I got back in there, I put the beanie back on because my hair was all looking weird after I took it off. And I mean, that's just a couple examples. Oh, and also, like, if I was talking to a chick and she would put her hand in my hair, dude, I would be screaming internally, man. I would kind of like flinch and just be screaming. I didn't know what to say, I was pretty honest about it. I was thinking, yeah, like my hairline's receding, but at the same time, like, I just don't want to like bring that up and just talk about it. It's just like awkward for me. I just felt awkward at the time. Now I talk about it just totally openly. It's a normal thing, man. And another thing is, I'll show you this one. This is my buddy. went to his place, and he had a pool party. And the funny thing is, I got into the water, but like I didn't even get my hair wet, because that's just what I would do. Because it was like, it wasn't even in the question of getting my hair wet. If someone splashed me, because we're drinking, if someone splashed me, I would like just I would scream internally, man. But yeah, so we took this picture, and this is what my hairline was looking like. This is on a good day. This is kind of with the sculpture. So I mean, obviously it doesn't look that great, but this is on a really good day. And even with my sculpture, I just wasn't happy. So I wanted to retake it. And like I said, I would just put things on my head, like sunglasses or a hat or a bandana. And I felt like it worked a little bit, but I just really didn't like how it looked. And another thing is the hair fibers, they did work pretty well. I'm not trying to like shit on those companies, but like they do work pretty well. But I think they kind of play on people's insecurities, because it's not a long-term solution, and people become dependent on them, and they're pretty pricey, man. So that's an issue too. And plus it like stains your skin a little bit, so it's hard to wash off. So I bought this scrubber, and again, so I was applying minoxidil at this point, and it was really hard to apply minoxidil on top of using the hair fibers, because it would, if you put like liquid on the hair fibers, it would just make it like drip and look like I don't even know how to describe it, but like it would just look all it would look weird. It looked like ink, And just another random thing, like if I was at a party and and like one of my drunk buddies would just like touch my, these things happen, and if one of my drunk buddies would just touch my hair, I would kind of just like, I wouldn't say anything, but like in my mind I'm thinking, oh, how does my hair look? Or like if I was to be just walking down the street on a windy day, I would have to look at like the reflections of the glass on the buildings to see if my hair is just messed up. And it was kind of controlling me, dude, and I just was very unhappy with it. And I had to get rid of it, and I'll get to that in a bit. And another way it affected me is if I was to be like if I had a girlfriend and like I was to wake up, my sculpture would be destroyed, my hair sculpture. So I'd have to go to the bathroom and quickly like resculpt it. And I just didn't like doing all that. It was just too much work, man. And I don't think like chicks really cared, but at the same time, I just didn't like doing all that, And another thing is I wouldn't have the windows down when I would drive, because it would mess up my sculpture. So this is me actually finally shaving it. And going up into this moment, I was taking minoxidil for like 15 months, and I stopped taking it, and I was starting to lose my gains. And it was kind of a way to make me be accountable for actually shaving it. And I had to get off the minoxidil because I was having some side effects. And if you're interested in that, go check out my previous videos. I do have a side effects video, and I do have a video on all the questions I have for minoxidil. And it worked great for the beard, but for the scalp, in my opinion, it's just not worth it. Plus, I was having some side effects. I was getting heart palpitations if I took the recommended amount, so I lowered it, and they went away, but I wasn't making any scalp gains. I was making beard gains, but it just didn't seem worth it if I was to take the normal amount, because obviously I care about my health, and I just had to stop taking it. And here's me shaving it. Man, I was so nervous, dude. And let me see. Yeah, as you can see, pretty much receded. And I'm gonna pause it around a certain spot just to. So I was watching Bald Cafe, and it really made me think about some of the propaganda and just like some of these marketing techniques that these like hair loss solution companies have, and they kind of mislead people, and they'll use that picture of like someone with rocking the old cul-de-sac or the horseshoe like that. Let me pause it real quick once I get to it. But they'll make a video, or they'll have a picture, and have a picture of a dude with rocking the cul-de-sac or the horseshoe, and then put a hair system on, and the juxtaposition is crazy. But obviously having a shaved head is a lot different than having a long ass cul-de-sac, and that's what it kind of bothers me now thinking about it. It's just like taking advantage of people that are actually insecure about this, and it's just not like a good solution, Yeah, I was so nervous, man. so glad I did it. If anyone wants advice for this, I totally recommend just shaving it. And a lot of people have been saying, like, if they lose their hair, they're gonna kill themselves and stuff. Man, that is, like, in my opinion, that is an irrational response. If you lose your hair, your worth as a man is not dependent on simply hair on your head, dude. Your worth as a man can't be lost, from any external variables, especially hair, dude. It's normal. The vast majority of men go through this stuff. So now this is me fully embracing it. I just posted a video just shaving my head, or how to shave your head, for total newbies. And by the way, I've been getting a lot of questions about my beard. Yeah, it is a minoxidil beard. I really recommend checking out my old videos. If you have any questions, I did post a lot of information. So for those of you that are commenting, I totally recommend checking out some of my old stuff. I try to go over all the questions in depth. I forgot to mention, but like a couple weeks before I made this, I was thinking about doing the scalp micropigmentation, which is basically like a hair tattoo. And I sent them some pictures, and it would be at the bare minimum $2,000. And it's only in New York. Like the ones nearby me, oh, here's me at age 25. All the ones nearby me, I just, they were expensive and they didn't do a good job, so I would have to like travel for it. And I was looking into hair transplants, and you got to go to Turkey for like a cheap one. But then again, a lot of people that get hair transplants, for example, Joe Rogan, like that dude's he had 3 hair transplants and he still ended up shaving his head. I just don't think it's worth it, because a lot of guys end up using minoxidil and finasteride afterwards, and if my body's just way too sensitive for that stuff. Plus, like, I don't know, man, it's just so much effort for something that now I perceive as not even a big deal. And another thing I forgot to mention earlier is when I wouldn't use the hair fibers for my sculpture of my hair, people would make comments. So, the hair fibers, you really get dependent on it, and it's just so much effort, so much money, and it's just really not worth it in my opinion. Yeah, so this is me fully embracing it. And here's some more pictures. Like I said in some of my previous videos, I really like cosplaying and stuff. I really find that stuff pretty fun. Me at age 25, just drinking with friends, here hanging out with my sister, just totally embracing the bald lifestyle, man. I'm so much happier now that I shave my head. I totally recommend it to anyone that's actually thinning. And yeah, man, no one really cares. And if people do, I did have some people say some negative things about it, but it's just like, you just say, oh, my hairline's just receding, so I just shaved it. And, they never ask about it again. And if they do, they really screen themselves out of your life, because you don't want to hang out with people that really care much about that, because, again, it's not a big deal at all. And here, me rocking it. Like I say, I love doing this cosplay stuff. Find it hilarious and fun. Just rocking the ball, dude. You gotta find meaning in suffering. That's what I always say. It's like people say this is like the end of the world, but nah, you can do a lot of new things, and it's just a new look totally. And you can just embrace it and use what you got. Like for me now, I just go for a new style. I go more of like a masculine, kind of like a rugged. That might sound cringy for you guys, but that's just the look I go for now. And it's just me totally embracing it. Here's me right before I started minoxidil, and then this is me now just kind of posing. But yeah, that's about it for this video, guys. I really appreciate your time and attention. Thank you for watching. If you would like to support me, I would appreciate it if you liked the video, and if you want to stay tuned for more videos, feel free to subscribe. Peace out, everybody.